Welcome, welcome. I so appreciate you joining us today. This is Lauren Fogelman of Business Success Solution, and today's topic is company culture. Are you the leader that your firm needs? And we're going to be having this conversation with my special guest, Pam Green. Some of the things we're going to cover is why firm culture impacts profitability and what happens when you neglect it, how to set clear expectations so flexibility strengthens your team, and hiring strategies to identify candidates who actually align with your firm's value. I suggest that you get ready to take some notes because Pam is going to generously share a lot, and then we'll be able to let you know how you can connect with her if you want to have a further conversation. A little bit about Pam. Since 2013, Pam Green has proudly owned Paget Klamath Falls, leveraging 19 years of experience in bookkeeping and tax consulting for small businesses. As an enrolled agent, she is passionate about helping business owners navigate their finances with confidence, and Pam understands entrepreneurs' challenges and is dedicated to fostering a workplace where clients and employees feel valued. She's deeply involved in her community as an active Rotary member, speaker, and teacher at local events. She supports youth programs as a former Klamath County 4-H leader and continues to be involved with the Klamath County Junior Livestock Auction. Beyond work, Pam is a farm wife and mother of two. She enjoys reading, quilting, traveling, golfing, even though she says she's a terrible golfer, and playing fetch with her office dog, Poppy. You can learn more about Pam Green and Paget Klamath Falls at klamath-falls.pagetadvisors.com. We'll have that in the show notes as well. Now, Pam, I am so looking forward to our conversation today. Thank you so much for joining me.
I'm so excited to be here. You know, I have a really strong passion about company culture, and I'm always glad to share my views and see if I can't get some more recruits into trying to create culture throughout the United States so that we can have better places to work and better employees.
And with that being said, I think that company culture is a buzzword, but before we get into all that, what was it that really drove you to want to be spokesperson for raising the bar as far as company culture goes? Like, what drove you or inspired you?
So the whole reason that I opened my business, other than to help small businesses and individuals with their tax and accounting needs, is that I wanted to create the kind of company that I want to work in. That's my driving force there. And what we really try to embody is that to create the kind of company that we want to work in and to show others that you can be very successful doing that you can treat employees well and still make a lot of money.
And with that being said, I would like to actually get on the same page. So there's a lot of different ways that people think about company culture. Do you have like a baseline definition of how you view it so that we're all coming from the same place as we go through our conversation today?
Sure. I think company culture is a lot about respecting your employees and your employees respecting the company and the business. Everybody knows that there are certain things that have to get done for the business to make money and for employees to be successful. But the theory of leaving your private life at the door when you come to work just doesn't work. We live in complicated times and everybody has complicated lives, and there's no way to separate them, and you shouldn't. That's just going to create dissonance, and it's not going to be helpful for anybody. So I think culture is about having a place where employers and employees can work together with mutual respect and push the business forward with everybody getting what they need while also being able to provide what the business needs.
And as you're talking about that, I'm wondering, is there anything specific that you see about how having a very clear company culture shapes accounting and tax firms and how they actually operate?
So I think that we're really lucky in the way that we operate. We don't, it's not like we're a fast food chain or something like that, where you have to have people there at specific times all the time. We have some flexibility with our employees. And so when something comes up, we can be more flexible about when they have to be there or when they have to get the work done. We just need to be able to get the work done. So I think that's really helpful in our industry. And our industry is struggling finding employees. We're a dying breed. And we have made this industry look not very appealing from the outside. There's
Mhm.
always this like people that work in tax work 24/7. They have no life. During tax season, they can't do anything else. And so I want to change that. I want to show that you can have a tax and accounting firm and you can get the work done and still have a balance between family and free time and doing things that you enjoy and still get the work done. We don't have to work like crazy people. And, I know for me that if I work too many hours, I'm not very good at my job.
Mhm.
So I think we need to normalize that we just work normal hours, just like everybody else out there. And yeah, there's times that we might have to do an extra push, but not for months at a time, not for tax season, because tax season has become extended. There's no more tax season. I don't know about the rest of you firm owners, but I'm busy all year long. And so being busy all year long and then going double time during tax season for me is not sustainable and it's not good for my employees.
I think that that's really interesting how you're approaching that because the tax season is a grind for so many firm owners and their staff. So have you been able to maybe do something very transparent so that you can support your staff during tax season so that they can be able to show up being their best on February 1st and they're just as strong on April 15th?
Yeah, I am a very transparent boss. My
Mhm.
employees know what's happening at all times with all the decisions that we're making. And where I have the final say, they're also very involved in making decisions with me. And so they are all very on board with making tax season not be a grind. They know that they can't do it either. We have a policy in our office where overtime is not required. It's available during tax season. It's
Mhm.
available in other times when we need it too, but you're not required to use it. If you and I have many employees, they're like, no, I really want to get this done. It's not going to take very much longer. I want to come in on Saturday when it's quiet. Those are options for my employees, but they're
Mhm.
not requirements. And I think when you have that and when the employees understand it and they start trusting you, because when you have an office that is really centered on culture and taking care of employees, they don't trust that at the beginning because they have PTSD from being employed by other people who say things
Mhm.
like, this is a family, when that is just a bunch of BS. So it takes a while for them to learn it, but when they do, they start managing their own time and their own energy so that they know when they're best and when they're not. And I've had employees come to me and say, you know what? I'm fried today and I'm not doing anything anyway. I'm going to go home, which is
Mhm.
great. Why do I want to pay you to sit in your office and just spin? You know what's best for you. You take care of you, and I'll take care of the business, and we'll all be successful.
And part of what I'm hearing is that you're actually treating your employees like adults. Uh,
Yes.
right?
Yes, I employ adults and they can self manage. And if you're not an adult, I'm not going to hire you. And if I hire and I find that you're not an adult, we're going to let you go. Now, if you need coaching or help
Mhm.
or those kinds of
Right.
things, yes, we're there for you. But yes, I hire adults.
Okay. And so I love to get, from the generality where we have now defined company culture into something more specific that reinforces it. So do you have maybe a policy or a daily practice that really has had an impact on your firm's culture?
I think one of the policies that we have is I employ a lot of part-time mothers, and so
Mhm.
one of the things that I tell you when I interview and when I hire you is that if your child is getting an award at school, you need to be there. Family is first. Family is first for me. I own the business, and this business is not the most important thing in my life. I know it's not the most important thing in your life. So when you look at that and you say, this business is not the most important thing in our lives, but we need it to be successful because we rely on it for our livelihood and we all want to make more money, then the policy is do what you need to do to take care of yourself and your personal life, and then come in here, and while you're here, work really hard to get everything done and have really high quality. And if you're struggling, ask for help.
I love the fact that you put family first. That's something that's very near and dear to my heart also, because there's some things we just can't get back ever again.
Correct.
And there's always more work to be done. So
Absolutely. The work is never ending. You will never get caught up and you will never have it all done.
I like
So
my laundry basket at home.
exactly. And dusting. You start at one end, go to the other, start back over. And that's the way it is with tax
Mhm.
and accounting too. There's always more to do.
And something you were saying before is that there's firm owners that say the culture is important, but when it actually comes to following through with what they say, there's a disconnect. It takes a back seat. So what do you think happens when someone's employed in a firm and that firm really doesn't prioritize the culture that they say that they find is so important and critical?
Yeah, and it's tough. As a business owner, it's tough for me. I find myself checking my thoughts all the time, going, nope, that's not what we're doing. That's not how we're doing things.
Mhm.
That's not what we're going to do. My firm has been closed for the last 3 days because of snow. And it's February. And I'm like, I need everybody to be there. And I'm like, no, I need nobody to crash on their way to work, because if they crash on their way to work, they're out for the rest of the season and I need them there. So you really have to check yourself. And like I said, employees don't believe you, and you have to be authentic about it. And there are a lot of firms that say we're all about company culture, but when the rubber hits the road and deadlines are approaching and things happen, they throw it out the window. And you can't do that, because the employees then will not trust you. And then the culture is toxic, because then you're lying to your people on a regular basis.
And I think it goes two ways. So what I'm hearing is that you're doing things to reinforce the company culture, but my guess is because of you doing that, there's times that maybe there's crunch time or something, and they go the extra mile for you as well.
Absolutely. They absolutely do. I have incredible employee loyalty. They understand what we're trying to build here. They trust that as we build it, that the goal is for everybody to make more money, not just the business owner, but
Mhm.
that we want everybody to do better. We want everybody to make more money and to um, move up in the company, and get more education and change what you're doing if that's what you want to do. That we care about all of those things. And so when you stick with it, and when you can convince the employees, and when you prove it with your actions, then the loyalty that you have is incredible. And my people have gone above and beyond many a times when we had crunch times.
Mhm. And one of the things that you were talking about earlier is this family first culture. But I know that there are some firm owners that they just worry that if they are too generous, then their employees might take advantage of that. Anything that you've seen from your experience about whether your employees actually will take advantage of you? And are there things that you can do to prevent that from happening?
So I think it can happen. Employees can take an advantage of you, and somebody that you've had for a while that doesn't take advantage of you, something could happen that changes in their life, and then all of a sudden they've shifted and they're no longer aligned with you, and things start going sideways. And so I think that you have to be aware of that, and you have to be on the lookout for it. Your employees are looking to make sure that you're not taking advantage of them, and I am looking to make sure that they are not taking advantage of me. And while I trust them all, there have been times where I've had to say, okay, you are no longer aligned with what's happening in here. And so we're going to have to let you go to go find a better place for you. So I think that the first step is making sure that you hire the right people, which is difficult, so difficult. And that when you don't hire the right people, that you immediately correct them and let them go, because you don't want the rest of your team to see somebody who's taking advantage and not being part of what's happening. That gets so toxic so quick. And so you don't want that. So you have to be willing to let somebody go immediately if that's what starts happening.
And for so many firm owners who are so client-centered and depend on their staff, especially if you're a small firm, letting someone go then means that everybody else has to pick up the slack until you're able to fill that position again. Is there something that you do to be able to help with your firm transitioning while you're filling that slot again?
Right. I have an amazing staff and an amazing bunch of people. And when there's somebody there that has to go, they all see it. And so when I let them go, they're actually grateful that that's what happened. And they're more than happy to pick up the slack until we can hire somebody new. Also, during the hiring process, if the new person is working within your department, you're probably going to meet them and we're going to talk about it. And you're going to give me your impression. And I'm going to take that very close to heart. I know there's so many firm owners out there that say things like, that's a key employee. They do so much. I can't let them go. That's the first person that you need to let go, because they are so toxic and they're keeping your other people from growing and being who they need to be. And they're chasing good employees away, because good employees know their worth and they know what they want, and they're not going to stay if you're not what they need.
And I think that comes to a difficult decision, because once they're on board, it's so much more difficult to let them go then than while you're still in the pre-hiring phase. So if we can prevent bringing on a toxic person, is there something that you do during maybe the interview or hiring phase to see if they're a good cultural fit? Maybe there's some strategies or some key questions that you're asking during the interview to help figure that out.
Yeah, and I think that that can be really difficult, because people who are in an interview are trying to get a job, and I want to hire you. I want you to be the person that I want. So it's you just have to take cues and look at it and really see. The best hire that I ever made, who's kind of a unicorn for me. He's amazing. When I hired him, he was interviewing with another tax firm, and so to know that it was a CPA firm. And I knew they were going to offer him a lot more money than I could afford at the time. And I knew that I wanted somebody in my office that not only was really good at their job, but also understood what we were doing and why we were doing it. And so I said to him, I know that you're interviewing with this other CPA firm and they're going to offer you a lot more money than I am, but you're going to like working here a lot better. And this is why. And so I gave him the reasons. And so he ended up coming with me. And about a year after I hired him, he said to me, you were right. They did offer me a lot more money. And I like working here a lot more, because I am not stressed during tax season here. And I am not overworked during tax season here. And he has bloomed and blossomed from just the fantastic technician that I hired him to be, into moving into more management roles and more systems roles, and helping me design things so that they work better and that we're providing even better customer service. So I think that you want people that are not just here for the money. We all need money. We need to make money at our jobs, and everybody wants to get paid. And certainly none of my employees would work for me if I did not pay them. They like me, but they don't like me that much. So you want to make sure that they're there for the right reasons. And one of the things that we ask is, what does your optimum day look like? If you could come in here and do whatever you want, what would it be? And so those sometimes will give you clues also as to what they're looking for.
One of the things that we did in our agency is not only would Steve, my husband, and I interview for filling a position, we actually would have that person come in during one of our staff meetings, and the entire staff would meet that person before we hired them. And then as a staff, we would discuss whether we thought this person would be a good fit for our agency or not. And taking it off of just Steve and I as the owners making the decision, and really bringing the whole staff on board was key in really bringing on better qualified people that fit the culture of our agency too.
Absolutely. So, my office manager, receptionist is the first person that meets anybody who's coming for an interview. So that's good
Hmm.
to see how early they came in. Beth is really good at chatting. She's a chatter, man. She will chat you up while you are waiting. She's very friendly, and it's really, she'll get a really good first impression of somebody. And then me and my business partner will usually do the interview. If it's a tax person, I'll usually have my head tax person in there. If it's an accounting person, I'll usually have
Hmm.
my head accounting person in there. And then we'll, if during the interview we think they're a possibility of a good candidate, then I will take them around the office, kind of give them like a little tour
Hmm.
and introduce them to everybody, so everybody can get a first impression. So that's worked pretty good for us. Also, I think where I have hired my best employees is my employees referring somebody to me.
Hmm.
So it's not always worked. I've hired people that an employee's referred to me and it hasn't been a good fit, and we've let them know. So the employees know that that's a possibility. They're not going to be upset, but they have brought me friends and acquaintances that have been excellent. They know what we're looking for, and so
Hmm.
they're out there. One of the things I say is that I'm always marketing and I am always hiring. So every person I meet, I'm like, do I need them to come work for me? Is that somebody that I
Hmm.
need? So I think that that's one of the things that we need to look at. I can train you to do the things that we need to do. I cannot train you to be the kind of person that we need in our office.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. And one of the things I'm picking up also with your firm's culture is that there's a lot of team players. So it's everybody's has an important role in the team as opposed to individuals. Of
Absolutely.
it being it's about instead of it being about me, it's about we. So
Absolutely.
that's part of what I'm hearing. And the other part that I'm hearing is that you have fun there.
Oh
It's
my gosh, we have so much fun.
a
Our
relaxed
favorite thing
environment.
to do is wait till somebody makes a mistake, and then they're like, "Oh, I really
Hmm.
screwed this up." So we can celebrate and go, "Woohoo! Carl hardly
Hmm.
ever makes a mistake. Did you see that? He screwed up today. Let's order pie." Because those kinds of things are just, they're going to happen. And so you just want the team to know that a mistake is not going to be that big of a deal. Everybody covers for everybody. Everybody tries really hard
Hmm.
to make everybody's life so much better. That's what we're all about. And we do. We have a good time and we enjoy each other. That doesn't mean that everybody has to be your best friend. We do a lot of, like, I would call it team building kind of things. We'll do things like go out for happy hour or have lunch or, go bowling. But one of the things about those is that, and I think that people forget about this with company culture, is that those things are not required. They are after hours and not part of your workday. And if you want to hang out with us, we're so happy to have you. But if you don't want to, that is 100%
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
because you get to decide what to do with your free time, not us. And we are not offended and we are not hurt by it. And everybody just lets everybody be who they need to be and do what they need to do.
Hmm. And so, getting back to the whole thing about company culture and mistakes and everything like that. So is there anything that maybe firm owners get wrong when it comes to company culture?
Yeah, I think when you think that if you buy pizza on Friday, that's company culture, and that if you know, um, you have, I don't know, some sort of like competition, friendly competition, some of that can be company culture, but those kinds of things don't matter. What matters is treating people with respect,
Hmm.
mutual respect. And that's what culture is built on. So I hear a lot of like, we have a ping pong table or whatever that. Those things are nice. Don't get me wrong. If your employees enjoy a ping pong table, that's great that you got them one. But if you give them a ping pong table and you don't treat them with respect, the culture is not there. So I think when you're trying to build culture, it's not necessarily the things that you can do for your employees, but it's more how you treat your employees. If
Hmm.
somebody calls and says, "My child is sick," do you respond with, "Oh man, what are we going to do? You have an appointment today." And guilt them because their child is sick? That's not company culture. If you say to them, "Okay, we got this, we'll cover this, we'll reschedule it, whatever you need to do." I have employees that will text me and and say that they're sick and they apologize. And the first thing I do is say, do not apologize to me for being sick. That's
Mm.
ridiculous. In fact, I
Mhm.
had one the other day who kept apologizing. I said, do not make me come to your house and kick your butt while you're sick. Just be sick, get better, and come back. You have to actually do the thing that you said you're going to do. You have to actually say it's okay when, and things go bad and you needed them there and now it's a problem. But I don't make them feel bad about that. The thing is, when everything goes great and we're going along good, I'm so proud of the team and I give them so much credit. And when things go badly, that's on me. I'm the business owner. They're the
Mhm.
employees. They need to not worry about my business during their off time. They need to not take too much of it to heart. That's my responsibility. So when things go bad, that's my problem, not theirs. So if you're sick, that's my problem, not yours. I will solve that problem. I will cover if I have to.
And I think that, as you mentioned, life does happen because of the fact that you have this team culture. Do you do a lot of cross training? So if somebody does need to take extended time off, it doesn't just, that work doesn't just lay there, but it gets
Absolutely.
covered.
Yep, we all absolutely cross train, and it's one of the ways people decide where they want to move within the company. Like they cross trained on payroll, and they're like, I don't really like that. I'm really
Mhm.
glad that you know how to do it, but that's not the direction that we're going to take you. Or they cross train in doing some bookkeeping. They're like, oh, I really like that. And I'm like, well, let's get you some more training. Let's move you on to that. Let's let you do some more of that. Let's really enjoy that. So I think that's really helpful that we do those things so uh, that everybody can cover from everybody else. Plus, you get to see if that's like a direction that you want to go within the company.
And because you've been able to create this type of cohesive team culture, have you found that it's allowed you to step more out of the day-to-day operations and to be able to move more into the CEO of your firm?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Lauren, I worked with you a long time ago as my business coach, and you did amazing things for me. And one of the things that you told me is to take everything on that was on my to do list and give it to somebody else. Now, that has taken a while, but I am doing it. And I got to say that it's amazing. And my team is so supportive of that because they know when I'm doing business owner things, that means that I'm creating new opportunities for them. And so they're more than happy to take over all of this stuff. Right now, I'm on a business trip. I am purchasing another book of business, and I'm interviewing some of the potential new clients, bookkeeping clients. It's February, and I'm traveling, and my people are taking care of everything, and I have nothing to worry about. And in fact, I say things like, "Well, it's kind of a bad time for me to be gone," and they just laugh and say, "You're not doing the work anyway. Get out of here. Go take care of things. Go get us some more
Mhm.
work to do. Go grow the business and let us know what you need us to do from here while you're gone." What makes me so happy is that they take care of things while I'm gone and nothing happens, but they miss me and they're glad when I'm there. And so
Mhm.
that's awesome that they can take care of it, but they do enjoy me being there. And it's not like I'm just like this overlord boss that when I'm out of town, everybody's happy. And when I come back, they're unhappy. It's really everything that I've ever wanted. And I'm trying really hard not to screw it up.
And I think that it's definitely a mindset shift of getting out of the day-to-day operations because it's your business and you want to make sure that your
Mhm.
clients receive a certain level of service and experience and excellence, and being able to like delegate it in onto team members, trusting that they will take care of
Lauren,
your
I have
clients.
hired people that are smarter than me. And that's what I
Uh-huh.
would tell you to do. Do not worry about, like, I have people that are better at the job than I am, better at
Hmm.
tax, better at accounting. They do a better job for my clients than I ever did. And that's my super secret power. Hire people that are smarter than you. Do not be afraid of doing that. And to
Hmm.
be the one that's not the smartest person in the room. The smartest person in the room is the one that hired all the smart people. So go get those people that are better at it than you, and then you have no fear to turn it
Hmm.
over to them because they're doing a better job than you ever did.
And I just want to say for people that are joining us, Pam does not live in a big city where there are millions of people to choose from. She's in a small, she said she's a farmer's wife.
Mhm.
She is in a small rural community and still has been able to attract quality employees to her firm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And with things like remote employees, we don't have a lot of remote employees, but we've
Mhm.
started with a couple. I'm in the state of Oregon. So to be a tax preparer in Oregon, you have to have a tax license in Oregon. So I haven't hired any remote tax preparers, but I have hired remote bookkeepers because they can work from anywhere.
Mhm.
And that's been working out. And, all my clients are not in my rural area either. Like I said, I'm traveling to another state today to look at buying this book of clients that is mostly bookkeep. There's a lot of bookkeeping, and we'll do them remotely. And when you have to attract those clients and to keep them happy, I think having the company culture that we have is so important, because when you're working remotely for people, we like to say that we're high tech, but we're also high touch. You have to
Mhm.
have the employees that are exuding trust and confidence and the ability to get things done. And I can tell the people that we work with that I have an incredible team. I have a team behind me, multiple
Mhm.
people that can take care of you. Well, it doesn't matter if Beth is sick today, somebody else is going to take care of you. So that's amazing too, is that they've all got each other's backs, and the clients know that they can rely on the entire team to take care of them.
And then true testament, Pam, is that you can travel during tax season and
Absolutely.
everything continues to run smoothly. It's not all
Absolutely.
piling up on your
No.
desk.
No, I am not the bottleneck anymore. I have been the bottleneck in the past, and I still say
Mhm.
that I'm the problem. It's me. A lot of the times, I'm the worst one to follow the new procedures, and I have the hardest time being compliant with what we have laid out that we should do. But yes, I can travel during tax season, and everything gets taken care of, and it's amazing.
And if there's someone listening to this that really wants to be able to start moving more in that direction too and making changes, there's something about employee buy-in. So what have you
Yes.
seen that helps with getting your staff on board with the way you want to move your firm forward?
So I think that it takes time for employees to trust you. I know that when I hire somebody new, they come in and they talk to the other employees, and they still don't trust that what I say is what I do. And it takes time. And especially when you first start, those first few employees that you have. And I have fired more people than I can remember. It's not an easy process, because you really have to get the right people in the right seats, and that is tough. But I can say that once you get good people, you don't want to lose them. If you have
Mhm.
a good employee, you want to do everything that you can to make sure that they're happy and that they're going to stay, and that because they're who you can turn your business over to and walk away. So you just have to be really consistent with how you treat everybody, and that what you say is what you do, and that when things get tough, you don't take it out on the employees. It's okay to show the employees when you're struggling. I think that when you're vulnerable and things are tough. I think they appreciate when I do that, but they also know that I'm gonna head the ship, and that I'm gonna take care of things, and it's all gonna be okay, and that it's okay for them to struggle too, because we've had struggling employees, and I had two people out on maternity leave last year. Life happens. And when
Mhm.
it does, you just have to roll with the punches. And
Yep.
so I think it is tough. It is hard. Doing it this way is hard. But I think doing it the other way, being authoritarian and, saying, I'm paying you. You just need to do what I say. And this is my place, and we're going to do it my way. Has a huge cost too. So I think
Mhm.
you need to look at that, and the fact that maybe you have turnover, or maybe it's not a good place to work. I used to think about my exit strategy, and my exit strategy is to sell to my employees, and they know that. They know that they're there and that they can own the business someday. I started as a receptionist at a tax office, so there's no reason why any of them can't own
Mhm.
eventually. But I find myself less worried about when I'm going to step away, and less worried about getting more time off. That's the dream of every business owner, is to run your own business and have a lot of money and be able to take time off whenever you want to and never have to answer to everybody. But I find myself less concerned about how much time off I'm going to take because I'm just having so much fun. This is way more fun way to run a business than to be micromanaging or managing people. It's way more fun to have adults in the room with you that want to play.
And Pam, I think that your passion just clearly comes through. That's the first thing. And that you're really showing that it is possible for a firm owner to have the dream firm that they originally thought about having when they first started this journey. That you can have one that raises your quality of life instead of taking from it.
Absolutely.
And I just want to thank you for joining us today. I so appreciate every single time that we talk and seeing the changes and the evolution and the growth that you continue to have as well. And some of the things that we covered is why firm culture impacts profitability and what happens when you're neglected, how to set those clear expectations so flexibility strengthens your team, and hiring strategies to identify candidates who align with your firm's value. Pam, if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to be able to follow through with you and Paget Klamath Falls?
So I would probably email at pam@pagetkf.com. And I would love to connect and talk to anybody about how you build a company culture, and especially in our industry.
Excellent.
Yeah. And
thank you so much. Go ahead.
Nope. I just wanted to say one more thing. I think that our industry is tough sometimes to be in, and part of the reason that it's tough sometimes to be in is because we're not charging enough. And Lauren will tell you that every time. And Lauren helped me raise my prices and get less concerned about those kinds of things. And that is another thing that has helped me be able to create the culture that I want. You cannot pay these people peanuts. And in order to pay people what they are worth, you have to charge enough. So that's also something that's in the background every time. If you want to create a great company culture, you have to build a business that is financially stable. And to do that, you have to charge what you and your employees are worth.
And the fact that you had the courage to go out and actually start doing that was scary at first.
Oh, terrifying, but you get used to it. And then you're like, no, this is it. And then you start setting some boundaries, and pretty soon you have better clients than, because when you start, you'll take anybody. And then pretty soon you start having better clients who are paying more and that's the other thing too, is I don't tolerate a client who does not treat my team well. You have to treat my people well. My employees are much more important than any individual client. So you have to have good clients so that you can have, everybody's got to be able to enjoy the work. And so those are, and get paid. You got to get paid.
Absolutely. Anyway, thank you for the engaging conversation. And for everybody that joined us, this is Lauren Fogelman with Business Success Solution, showing accounting firm owners how to double their income working half the